Amaka, can you hear me?
Hello, Samuel, can you hear me? Hello, Samuel, can you hear me? Hi, guys, can anyone hear me? Please, if you can hear me, go ahead to drop a message so that I know you can hear me. Okay, Johan, you can hear me. All right. So, Samuel, please, can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you let me know? So, welcome, guys, to today's class. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Today is our first class on low code, no code. So, this is our first class on no code, low code. And you can go ahead to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that it makes it easy for you and you can set up your notification so that you get notified anytime a class goes live. Today we'd have Samuel take us on introduction to Frema. He'll be joining us shortly. He was formerly on the call. I believe it had to do with network. So we'd have him back shortly. It's okay, he's here. Okay. Samuel, can you hear me now? Oh, okay. All right, that's perfect. Okay, I can seem to hear myself. I don't know why that's happening.
All right. Probably you can go off stage and
All
come back.
right. So, okay, no problem. I'll do that. So, Samuel, over to you.
All right then. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samuel, and super excited to have this session with you. And yeah, we'll be going through Framer, showing you how to use Framer, and hopefully by the end of this class, you should be able to create your first website without writing a single line of code. So I'll be sharing my screen. And I would like you to tell me when you can see my screen. So if you can see my screen already, just drop a message in the chat. My screen should be shared. So please, if you can see my screen. Okay, I think it's live now. So can you see my screen? Good afternoon, guys. Can you see my screen? Amaka, can you hear me? I'm trying to confirm if everyone can see my screen before I proceed. Yeah, I can see your screen. All right, perfect. So yeah.
Yes, we can see your screen, Samuel.
All right, fine. So yeah, welcome to the class. My name is Samuel, and I'll be a product designer, and I'll be showing you how to create a website using Framer. Now, Framer is a no-code tool. This is the website. You go to framer.com to access the website. It's a no-code tool that allows you to create simple landing pages, any kind of pages for that matter, without writing a single line of code. The interface looks very much like a design tool. So if you're a designer, this will be very easy. Even if you're a developer as well, it's also very easy to use. And also Framer, if you're a developer, you should be able to use Framer Motion. Framer Motion is an aspect of Framer that requires some programming. And basically the programming aspect of Framer, that part of Framer that requires programming is basically just to create animations and much more complex interactions. But for the most part, you don't need to write any single line of code. In fact, you don't need frame and motion at all. It is just an extra stuff that exists. So I'm saying this for in case you're a developer and you want to get into the little details of the software. Now, like I mentioned, this website, you can create a lot of stuff with Framer. You can create your a personal website for yourself. You can create if you're a founder, you're looking at starting a business, you can create a website, a landing page for your business. You can use it to run marketing ads. You can use it for, even if you're working with a big company, I need to quickly gather some insight or emails, whatever it might be. If you're a freelancer trying to make money off building websites, or maybe you're an agency, you're a design agency, right? And I mean, this is an example of a portfolio, my portfolio that was built with Framer. So it's very simple to build this with Framer. And yeah, I mean, then also, if you've seen this, if you have seen this, you would also, from Techie's Garage, you would also be familiar with, if you've seen this page, you would also know that you notice that there's also Framer in the URL. was also built with Framer. Then there's also this. So this was also built with Framer. Just this is very simple, built with Framer as well. And yeah, we'll be showing you how to build a simple website using Framer. So first, you need to download the software. So for you to download the software, you go to resources. And so now, before we even go into how to download the software, okay, know what? Let's download the software first. So first, the easier way to get download software just is you can search for Framer, then also search for download, right? Then when you do that, you click on the first link you find. It takes you to Framer downloads. Then from this page, you would find an option to download on your laptop or on your Mac. Now, this feature exists, but you can also use Framer on the web. I'm showing you this just in case you prefer to have your software natively installed on your system to use locally. Now, in as much, even if you're using it locally on your laptop or you're using it on the browser, Framer works the same. It requires internet connection, so you need to have your data turned on for it to work. And yes, it works seamlessly. So kindly install it. And beside that, you can log in using your email, your a Google account, and there's no long process with the creation of account, and you'll be in. So when you create an account, this is what it looks like. I'm going to step back a bit. And this is what your account would look like. You would find something that looks like this. Then you would have a panel on the left hand side. Then you have any design you've created on the right, on the remaining part of the screen as well. Now, Framer also has something called the AI. Basically, with the AI tool, you are going to be able to create websites without writing a single line of code, but taking it to the next level where you just use a series of prompts like you can see on the landing page. I mean, we'll explore that shortly, but basically, that's all about setting up Framer. So just you can set up Framer using the desktop app that is available on the website. That's framer.com/download, or you can use it on the web. So just go to framer.com, then create an account, and you to take you straight to this. It also has a light mode version as well. So I think we should explore the AI first because I think this is very exciting. Now the AI works just like any other image generation tool where you just get to put in a certain prompt, and with that prompt you can get going and create. So now if you have this, you can easily clear up the tutorial. Just click on that, clear it up. So now you see, as soon as the page finish loading, you see we have this start with AI. Then we click on it, we can write a prompt. So let's say create a portfolio website for portfolio website for a a product designer with let's say 4 years experience in fintech and let's say fintech edutech. Let's just be more specific with what we want the platform to look like. And let's say um, we also want the website should website should contain should be should be should be minimalist. Okay, let's say minimalist. So like minimalist and simple, as well as a call to action for hire. All right, so let's just leave that in. Very simple prompt, and let's see what Framer comes up with. So this will take a little bit of time. So while it loads, I'm going to show you what the interface looks like. So on the left hand side, we have a panel that, like I mentioned, it looks very close. We'll go a little bit into Figma and then bring in some designs from Figma into Framer. But first, let's look at this. So now on the left hand side, like I mentioned, if you're a designer, you would find it very easy to use it. So we have a panel on the left, we have a panel on the right, we have a top navigation, And of course, we have this particular place where you can have access to more features and more settings. So now for pages basically, on the website, we have a website has multiple pages, right? So we have a landing page, we have contact us page. That's like a basic website would have all those things. Then okay, our website is ready. So I mean, it doesn't look so great, but it's a very simple layout and it goes all the way down higher now. Okay, so now we have the footer. Remember, the prompt also said they should have a call to action to available for hire. Then we also have this showing the different like skill set and experience. Then we also have like showcasing the images of design, snapshot of the designs. Then of course the hero section as well. Now, this is not the best design, obviously, and the tool is still very young in terms of the AI aspect of Frame. Is still in its primitive stage, I believe, and hopefully to get better from here. But just wanted to show you the AI aspect of Framer. So it works same way with any other AI generation tool, where you get to put in a prompt, and now it's also assuming that you can publish your website. So if you click on publish, watch what happens. Then now you can click on this. You can see at the top here we have a link, so we can click on it. It opens the next tab, and we have a website. So you can easily copy this link and share it with anyone you want to share it with. So that's how simple it is to create a website with Framer. Now, but we're going to go into details to create it by ourselves, not using any AI tool. We'll also show you how to create. I'll also show you how to create using Figma. So we'll go try and recreate this design. This design we're going to be creating in Framer from Figma. So we'll be exporting it as well. Then so let's go back to it. So we have pages. So pages, like when you go to a website, like I mentioned, for example, if you go to framer.com, we have these different web pages that takes you to different aspects of the website. So basically that's what this is. So you can add more pages here. You can add as many pages as you want. Then we also have the layers panel. So now if I draw a shape, you can see it appears here. So it shows you the different layers, the different elements and items in the frame, basically in the page that you're designing. So this is a page, right? Now this page is a desktop version of the page. We can also add a breakpoint for the mobile as well as the tablet. But basically, that's what layer does. Layer shows you everything within that particular page, and it is arranged in stack. So I'm going to explain a little bit of that shortly, but basically, whatever she's showing here is basically the content of the page. Now, we also have assets. Now, assets shows you your component, your styles, as well as your code, which you would see shortly. But component work very similar to the way it works on Figma, and also it's software engineering as well. So you create a component when you want, for example, if you go to a website, let's go to Figma again. You see this navigation here, no matter the page you go to, it is the same navigation. So now we are in pricing. Let's go to pricing. Now this is pricing, but you see the navigation is the same thing. If you go to the footer as well, you see the footer is the same thing. Let's go to another page. Let's go to let's go to this page. So we are in another page again, but you can see the header is the same thing, which is this navigation. It's the same thing, did not change. Then if we also go to the footer, like you see, it is the same thing as well. So for items like this, the footer, the header, maybe some cards within the design that will not change across multiple pages, or maybe even within the same page, you can create a component. Basically, you create it once so that you don't have to create it each time, so that there will be consistency across the multiple pages, and so that whenever you change it once, maybe you make an update. For example, if you change this place from templates from plural, which is templates, to template, instead of you having to change it for all the pages, like having to come here, then go to each page and make those changes one after the other. Just go into the component and make those change once, and it will be implemented across the different pages. Now, before I proceed, I want to confirm if you guys can hear me. Do you want to see your message in the chat? Can you guys hear me clearly before we proceed?
Yes, I can hear you, Samuel.
All right then. All right. So yeah, so that is it with this with left panel. So now we also have the panel on the right. So you would only see, if you notice, if you are not selecting anything, there's nothing on the right. But as soon as you select, for example, you come here to the layout and you select frame and you draw a frame, the the right hand side comes to life. We have interaction, we have link, we have position, we have a lot of stuff here. But we'll be going through them as we start creating our website. Now, besides that, if you check the top, we have a lot of things going on here. Now we have the link to the website we just created, which is this one, which you can easily click on and take us straight to the website. For example, if I click on it again, like I did before, it takes you straight. Now it takes you to a different page because in the website, in our tool, we are currently in page 5 and we don't have anything in page 5, right? So that's why the page is empty. But if we go back to the here home section and we click on this same link again, you see what happens. You see it opens. So take note of that. So yeah, we have layout, we have text. So click on text for it to write a text. So you can write anything you want and it appears. Then we also have CMS, and we also have actions. Now, besides that, we also have interaction insert as well as layout. Now I've opened layout a couple of times already. So now for layout we have frame, then we also have stack. Now this is called stack, but it appears here as rows, columns, pages, but it's the same thing. Now, if you are familiar with Figma, now let's go back to Figma a little bit. Now, in Figma, whenever you draw for example, a simple shape, right? Now we could use Shift A to turn it into an auto layout. Now this is an auto layout on its own, and it behaves differently from, say, a frame. This is a frame, and this is an auto layout. They both behave differently. We know that, right? Now, if you're not a designer, when we say, let me go back to frame to explain this. So now, when we are talking about frames, we're talking about, in a frame, you can put a shape into a frame. For example, you can draw another shape inside a frame. I'm going to give this a color so that you can see it, right? Then you can put another shape beside it. You can put another shape on top of it. I mean, you can put as many shapes as you want. You can put even an image on it, and everything is just going to stay on each other. Like it doesn't care, it's just going to lay on each other. And to lay on each other directly, it can be under, it can be based on the arrangement. So you can go to layers panel, you can see the frame, you can see the content of the frame, you can rearrange them, move some to the top, move some to the bottom, and everything works that way. Now, when you're dealing with auto layout, auto layout in Figma, now in Framer it is called stack. It works differently. Now, I'm going to remove. So now we have this auto layout. We have this frame, this stack, slack. I'm going to remove the frame inside of it. So we're just going to have it like this plain. Then I'm going to draw a shape inside. So let's grab onto this. Then I'm going to draw it. I'm going to give it a background so that you can see the difference. So let's have this. Then I'm going to give this a color. So now we have one. Then if I duplicate it, you can see instead of it to stay on top of the way it behaves here, it doesn't stay. It is basically finding another space to stay instead of layering on top of each other. So that's how Slack works. It doesn't lap, like arrange itself, like a book, the way books are, like when you can stack a book on each other, but you can't stack stuff on each other in you can only do that with frames, right? You can't do that with Slack. So things would obviously move to the next place. So you can see it has gone down to the next place. So I can easily draw this line and you see. So if I can keep drawing, keep duplicating and it keeps going down. So that's the difference between the two. Because those two are going to be very important. So now if you notice that items are arranged in a vertical order, I could easily come to the settings and change it from direction. So direction now is from top to bottom. So we can change it from top to bottom to left to right. So let's just change that quickly. So now you can see the content is now moving from left to right, then top to bottom. So yeah, these are some basic concepts that you need to understand when creating a website with Framer. So now we're going to just go straight to business and create something different. But before we do something from scratch completely, I want to show you what you can do with the insert section. So with the insert section, we have a bunch of things going on. We have CMS, we have basic, we have elements, and yeah, basically we have a lot of stuff. But let's start with it. Let's create a website with this. So now we have the navigation. From navigation, we can drag in a navigation. So we can drag in a top nav, we drag that in, we go back there, we can go back to section, drag this in, then go back again. Let's go back to section, find another one, drag it in, then go back again, drag this one in. So we can continue dragging. Let's just grab a few more sections. So let's bring this one in, then let's drag this in, then we also have this. Then let's get footer. So we can grab this footer from here. Then we can then arrange it like that's supposed to be at the bottom. Then we'll bring that to the bottom. Let's take contact to the bottom as well. Then FAQ as well to the bottom. Then now we can edit the content if this is what we want, right? We can edit the content. Remember, this is desktop, so we need to make sure that the website looks good on mobile as well. So that's where the breakpoint comes in. Breakpoint basically allows you to set, okay, when the website gets to a certain width, what should it look like? When it gets to a certain width again, what should it look like? So yeah, when you're setting breakpoint, you're trying to tell the website that, okay, when a user opens this website with a large screen of so and so width, this is what the website should look like. If they are opening the device with a smaller, with the website with a smaller device, this is also what it should look like. So now we're going to switch to tablet. And this is what tablet looks like. Then going to switch to phone as well, and this is what the phone will look like. Now you can see it doesn't look so good on tablets as well as the mobile. There's a lot of content that is flowing away from the design, away from the website. So you can see it needs a lot of work. Now that's where we can get into fixing it, right? So we can come in here and make some changes to make it look good on tablet. So we can come in here and reduce the first. We can add a little bit of padding. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be explaining the content of the right hand side of the design of Framer as we go along creating a website. So now first we're going to add padding. So padding here basically means that you're adding space. Now you can add space to the top. You can see it has T. Let me show you. Let me bring it closer. So we have T. T means top. R means right. B means bottom. Then left means L means left rather. So we're going to add like let's say 64 left, right. Then we're going to reduce the size of the text. But before we do that, we're going to change this. So now currently this is what is containing the heading, the paragraph, and the buttons. This is the container wrapping the whole thing. And if you know, now one more thing before we proceed with this, in my explanation, I showed you that. Let's go back to the other page we used. I think it was this. Yes. I showed you that when you're working with frames, sorry, with Slack, you cannot layer content on each other. So things will just stay beside each other. So I'm going to just change this color to red again, just to illustrate what I mean. So now let's just get this out and go back to layer so that you can see it clearly. And now if I duplicate, things goes this way. But now you can when when you have things this way, you can easily come into the panel and you would have more options, right? So now this is where it looks like. I'm going to use the word auto layout and Slack a lot interchangeably, but that is just to show you the relationship between the way it works on Framer and the way it works on Figma as well. So now from the settings here, we can make a lot of changes based on if it's a frame or if it's auto layout. So now, for example, change the you can change the wrap, and you can also move it into a grid. Now, when it's in a grid, it appears this way where you can arrange content on each other. Now, this is very important to illustrate what I mean here. So I'm going to go back to that page where we're creating this. So now we have content that are staying beside each other. We can choose to decide that, okay, for this content on tablets, we want it to stack on each other. We don't want it to be beside each other. So we can click on what is wrapping it. Basically, we see that you can see the icon. This icon means that it is not a frame. Now, if it's a frame, it will look something like this. The icon will look not this. Let me draw an icon that didn't draw a frame here. So a frame would have a square, basically a square as the icon. When you see something that looks like this, it means that this is a frame. When you see something that looks like this, it means it's an auto layout. So basically, whenever you see double lines, either in vertical or horizontal, in the vertical or horizontal position, you should know that you are dealing with a and with auto layout. Then if it is this way, you know that you're dealing with a frame. Now, back to the website. So we can easily choose to, since this is an auto layout, we can change it from the way it is beside each other. We can bring it down to, let's say we want to stack it on each other, we can arrange it this way. But because it won't look exactly good if we do it that way, we're going to just reduce the size. So we can click on the text and just reduce this first. Then I'm going to choose the size here to 40 and reduce this to, let's say, 16, right? Then bring this one up, bring this up a bit. All right, then we can bring this one in, then adjust the padding to 64, and basically we'll make it look good on tablet as well. So just make a little bit of changes here and there until we're satisfied with what we're looking at. So I'm just going to fix this to okay. And yes, you can see it looks a lot more better on on tablet right now. So we can go over to the mobile view fully. Now the same thing, you select what is wrapping it. You've noticed some part of it is not appearing here. So if you select it, you can see that you can't see the image. You can only see the image. You can't see the second frame, which is the equivalent of this, but in the mobile. So we can select what is wrapping both of them, which is this container. Then we can go back to the settings and fix it. So now when you get to this place, you can change it from where it is here to this. Now when you change it, you can see that the content arranges. So now we have the text at the top and the image at the bottom. You can go to settings to the panel here and add like 16 pixels of padding around it. So for the padding, you will notice that sometimes it is like this where we have the top, the right, the bottom, and the left. Then there are other times when you can also switch to this whenever you want to use the same padding around it. So if you want the same amount of padding around it, both the top, the bottom, and everything, you just switch to this and have the same amount of padding across the entire size, basically top, bottom, left, right. Now, if you're trying to get, maybe you want the top to be a different size, then the bottom to be a different size, then you can switch to this and manually put in the numbers that you want. Now, back to it. So we can then reduce the size, the font size of this. Let's bring it down to 36 and bring this down to 18. Then bring this, just reduce the line height here. Then change this up a little bit, and and I'm just going to add a bit of padding here as well, 16 for the mobile view. So remember what it was before and look at what it looks like right now. It looks a lot better. So let me just make this little bit of change here. So we can go to the image and apply some fill. Let's apply some fill. All right. So done that, and add a little bit of space. So now there's also something called gap. Now gap allows you to, so for example, I'm going to draw a simple shape here. So we have this. We also have stuff inside of it. So we have this, then we also have, let's just give it the color red, hit it. Then we'll switch it to Slack and just change it to Slack, right? Then now we want to increase the space between the two of them. When we select it, we can go to the settings and we'll find something called gap. When we drag the gap, you can see the space between it shifts, or you can click on this and drag it in and out. Now, when you do that, we can apply that here as well. So when we select the whole thing, you can see it also appears. So we can increase the space or reduce it. So just to make some micro adjustment and make sure that design looks really good. So yeah, this explains the concept. So now, one more thing, we can preview the design before we publish it. So if you click on the play button here, it opens a preview. Now this is not necessarily publishing it, just showing us what it looks like. So we can then adjust it across desktop, the tablet, as well as the mobile. So this is what it looks like on mobile, then this is what it looks like on a large screen. But when you look at it like this, if there are any corrections you need to make, you can easily go back, make those corrections. For example, let's say want to make changes to this and it's looking a little bit too big. Then we can come here, select it, and make whatever changes we want to make. So yeah, I think that explains it. So now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a simple website, something like this. So we're going to be creating this using Framer within the next 20 minutes. So we're going to try to recreate this using Framer. And by the end of the day, hopefully you'll be able to get a hang of how to create a website using Framer. So let's get into it. I'm going to pick a next page, just pick another page, and we're going to start designing. So if you have any questions, please ask. If you have any questions, please ask. Yes, Slack is like auto layout in Figma. Yes, yes, yes. Vertical, horizontal. Yes, great. Yes, that's how Slack works. And so yeah, if you have any questions, please ask. Yeah, Slack is not same as role. Slack allows you to switch between role and column, right? So you can switch it if you want it to be in if you want it to be in a role or if you want it to be in a column. You can also switch it to be a grid as well. Slack. All right. So yeah. So there are two options. Which one would you guys like us to recreate? We could recreate this, or we can use this as well. We can use this. Now, this will take more time, and we don't have much time, so that's why we're going to be creating this. But what do you guys think? I want to see your, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. So, which one do you want us to recreate? I can't hear your comments. I'm not can't see your comments rather. Which of them would you like us to recreate? Should we do this? Basically, we'll try to recreate this again, or should we try to recreate this? All right. So All right, so the art page then. All right, let's recreate the art page. Let's recreate the art page then. All right, so we have a new page here. We're going to change this to, because what we are trying to create is in dark mode. So we're going to move this to a dark mode. We're just going to bring it down, bring it all the way down. So you see this is under styles. We move it all the way down. Then next thing we need to create is the navigation. So you see navigation here, and it has a logo, it has a bunch of stuff going on here. So we're just going to try to create that. But first we need a logo. So I'm going to grab onto this logo. I'm just going to grab onto it. I'm going to select it in Figma. Now go to plugin. Then I'll select I'll search for Framer. So yes, click on it and good. You can copy it like this. Then we can bring it here and paste it. Go to insert, search for frame, drag in the navigation, paste it in, then just delete this. So we're just going to have this here. Now, if you notice the previous time, like for example in this page, whenever we add in, for example, if I move this and try to add it into the web page, see what happens. Okay, I'm just going to cut it and paste it in this section. So if you notice, it goes to the bottom, right? It is not layering on each other. Now, if you check this particular page, it behaves differently. Like for example, if I duplicate this navigation, it is staying on each other, right? Which means that this is a frame while this is an auto layout. Now, or slack. So, but we can change that easily. When we select the entire page, you go to the settings. Now, whenever you click on auto layout, it changes it from a frame into a slack. So the entire web page will behave like a slack, not a frame. So that's something to take note of. Whenever you're creating a website that requires a lot of movement, like for example, this one, you've noticed there are a lot of stuff that are flowing around. This one, for example, is not moving. Then this one moves around. Then you have a lot of moving parts, right? It's like, for example, you see this, there's a background overlay here. Like you can see some little boxes around. Now, for you to be able to create this, you can't create this with a slack, because with a slack, like I showed you, you can't put stuff on each other. It has to basically be beside, on top, beneath. Basically, it cannot be on top of each other. So that is why you cannot use it for creating something that, you see the way the one, this what is under is below, then what's on top is on top. You can't do that if you're using a slack. So you have to use a frame. So now, otherwise, you can use a frame to create a website. But we're going to stick to using a slack. All right, so let's continue. So next thing we need to do is let's delete this one. Go into settings. So yeah. Now when you double click on, you can do it away. You can right click on edit, and takes you to the frame, to that particular component. So we're just going to copy this in here, paste it. This. And because we don't have much time, this is not going to look exactly like that one, and we're just going to make sure it looks good either ways. So we're just going to leave it like this. Yeah, but we're going to change it to black. So there are two ways to do it. We can either change the color to black or just remove the color from here. Then let's make this lighter. Let's change the color to something brighter. Then copy the color here. And here as well. Paste it here. And just remove this drop shadow. And yes, so now for this particular one, there's a gradient here. So we can just screenshot it, take it into the design, then go back in here. Remember, this particular one is different. It's supposed to be white since it's going to stay on a black background, so we need to change that quickly. So just select the whole thing. You need to select the whole thing, then change the color to something light. Good. So then we can come back here and paste the gradient we have, and we can then use the color picker, switch to gradient, bring it to the side, and you can then color it. Use the color picker to pick this color. Then use the color picker to pick that color. It's supposed to, then you can delete the one in the middle from here, then delete this one from here, and then you can, yeah, that's about it. So now you can see we've added color to it. The next thing to do is to move on to the next section. So if you check here, we have this in the middle, but there's a way to do that. I'm going to show you, but because of time, we're just going to move on to the next section, which is this. So we're just going to come in here. Then I'm going to show you how to do the drop down first. So now for drop down, you go into this place and search drop down. Click on insert and search for drop down. So you can drag and drop down, paste it here, and you can go on to edit it. So for editing it, you double click on it because the component on its own. Then you can come here and make whatever changes you want. But just take note that when you finish it, for example, you come in here, you've edited your drop down. Let's say you change this to product, right? This is product. You don't come here and duplicate it, and you want to use it again. No, you don't do that. If you want to create another drop down, you have to go back to the panel, click and drop down again, then bring it in. The reason is that if you come in here and you duplicate it, let me tell you this one. If I duplicate this one that we've created already, if I duplicate it, right, and I go in here and I edit it, let's say I change here to price, right, and let's just change the pricing, right? You come out here, you can see that both of them are changed to pricing because in as much as you duplicated it, it's still the same component. It's not a different component. You basically just duplicated the same component. That's why you have to go back here, then drag in a different component and use it instead. So yeah, that's about it. Then let's go back to, just going to delete this. Let's go back here. So we're going to move to the next sections. For the next section, we're going to insert and just let's drag a simple section here. Let's just drag this section in. I'm going to remove the background, then I'm going to remove the buttons as well. And we're going to change the text. This. Then we're going to push it to the next line. 80. Let's just bring it to 70. Right, 70 knots. Right, this. Then to this, then go back in here, copy it here as well. Let's reduce the font size to 15 and yes. Now we can change the typeface as well. The typeface used here was let me check. Let's check. So we used Monroe here. So let's see if we can find Monroe. Let's see, do we have Monroe here? And select it. And come here, select it as well. And let's keep it at 20. Right. So now next thing is to add basically this. So we can come in here and search for input field. Drag the input field in and spread it across. Change. We now have this panel. It wasn't here before. So basically we can edit this and make it look good. So before we start, we need to make sure okay. So now when we select it, you can click on the input field and remove the background. Just remove the background, turn it down to 0. So alternatively, we can come here, screenshot it, right? Then just paste it beside here, and let's see, copy. Let's take the code, then come in here, and you can copy this one as well. And yes, the next thing is to add the text. The text reads, what does text read? Generate images. So let's just have that here. Generate images. And then go to something like that. Right. Then go back to button, then change it to generate, and voila, we've created it. So there are a lot of changes you can do, but I'm just going to proceed from here. Like for example, you can adjust the padding and bring this one together. So one way to do that is for you to select the text, select the paragraph, then select the heading, then right click. Then you can see we have stack. Sorry, not slack, stack. Then select it. Then you can fit content, drag it away, and yes. So let's move on to the next section now. So the next section we have this, right? We have this very beautiful set of images, and when you hover over them, they move. So now let's go back and see if we can create that quickly. So we can go here, select carousel, slides rather. So you can select slides or against carousel or slides. I'm going to drag it in, then make it fill the entire content. Then you can also drag it down, and let's just get some images, right? Let's grab some images and pour it in. Give me a sec. Just grab some simple images that would be using there. Just just grab some images. I'm just going to paste some images into the file that we'll be using. Just trying to grab some images. All right. So I'm pasting them now. All right. So pasting them in here. So now, all right, good. Now these are just free stock images I got from Google, and going to arrange them beside each other. Just going to space them out. Right. Now you can select all of them like this, then right click, add stack, so that they can be arranged neatly, right? So remove the background, then bring it together, just click it to one side. Then you can remove the slack as well, the stack as well. So just going to remove the stack, and now we can come in here, connect it, connect it. So the rest, then connect the rest, connect it like this. And now when we select this, you see that we have a bunch of settings here as well. So we have things like how many children should it have, how many of them should be in view, what should be the size of this. So now the first thing we need to do is to spread this to occupy more space. So we're just going to drag this out. I'm just going to drag this out, then drag this out, then I'm going to add more content to the side. Going to add more content to the side. So, right, so just going to add more. Just going to add more as well, then stretch. Good. So yeah, we have it. Now, this is what it looks like. when you preview it. When you preview it, it looks like this. Now, for you to add that hover effect, I'm going to create the hover effect to just one image. So you can select the image, then you select it and add. You can add a stack or you can add a frame. So I'm going to add a frame instead. So you're going to add a frame, then right click again, create component, name the component image, and create. Then from here, you would see, while selecting, make sure you're selecting it, you see an option for hover. So when you click on hover, you select it. Then you go into that frame. Sorry, I think there's a mistake somewhere. Oh, yes, we made a mistake here. So right click again, create frame. So you have to make sure the frame is selected when creating the component. So you created image, and yes, so now we can come in here, click on hover, then select the image itself. This is the component, this is the image. Then we can set it to fixed, then increase it from 640 to 680, make it bigger, and place it in middle. But let's just keep it as 700, right? But make sure it's still in the middle. And just step out a bit. Then let's preview. We need to make sure that image is in view as well. Which image did we use? Oh, we used that. All right, let's go back. I don't think that image is connected, so let's make sure it's connected. So we're going to select this, connect it to this, then go back in. Then you can see it's behaving well. So now one more thing, if you notice this image is not filling, right? It's not filling the whole space available. So we can easily change that. But before we do that, let's go back in and let's fix this. All right. So I think this. So when you go back in and select the main component, you can go into the settings. Then you'll find something called styles. Under styles, you find transition. When you click on transition, you can change it from spring to easy. Increase the timing to 5. Then you can change this to whatever you want. And let's leave it here. Then you can just step out. You can go back and let's rearrange this so that it can come to the top. So you go back to sizing, then make sure return it back to stretch, then preview again. Well, for some reason this is not occupying the whole space, which is wrong. It should occupy the whole space. So I'm going to remove this from this place, and I'm going to disconnect it from here, and I'm going to fit it back in again. So I'm going to remove this, then we're going to connect it back and connect everything back again gently. So all right. All right. So I think the issue with this is the stack. So I think to fix that, we just need to select this and set it to relative at 100%. And so usually when you encounter situations like this, you might have to do some little changes here and there till you find something that works. And yes, so just go back in, then drag this back into view and preview. So now we have a bunch of images that can move, so we don't have much images, so I think that's why we are. Oh, yes, this image was not added. Okay, good. So now you can scroll, then you can see that this hover, when you hover over it, it goes in. You can see it goes in a lot. Now you can adjust that to whatever you want from the settings here. So you notice that we increase it to 700, but we can reduce it to like, let's say 680, and probably we can use 670 down a bit, or let's keep it at 660. Then make sure it is in the middle, then go back again, check the preview, and There's probably settings here. So all right, yes, come here, then change it to C60. So I changed the main component stuff, the hover. We went to change the hover, right? So you go back, change the hover, and go back to preview, and it looks it's probably a mistake here. So I'm going to review this one more time, and let's see how to fix whatever is the problem. Let's change this to 0, and this to, all right, all right. Let's preview it again. Okay, all right. At this point, I'm probably doing something wrong, but I hope you understand that to this point, what we're trying to do, which is the hover effect. And do you have any other questions, right? Like we'll try to fix this. How do you import images? No, you just drag it in. Very simple. You drag it in into this into Framer. So you just drag it in, just the same way you do on Figma. You drag it in and it works nicely. Any other question? No, it's not the transition. It's definitely not the transition. Don't worry, we'll discuss this further, and we would also create more complex animations. But any other question, basically, let's have more questions. The pink one. Oh, the pink one. Oh, don't worry, we can have another session where we'll try to create this. Just that if we are to create this, it will take more time, and we don't have much time. We've actually exhausted the time we have for this class. So, yes. How do you replace the logo place? Oh, for the logo, you saw the way I dragged it in, right? So you can pick a logo that you've created on Figma or that you have on Figma or you have on your laptop, right? Then you can easily just use the plugin if it's on Figma to take it out, right? So you can easily to take it out, just copy and you can paste it here and use it. Now, alternatively, you can just drag it from your laptop and bring it in. Now, for you to change logo, you can, when you select the component, you go into it, now you double click on the logo. So you see within the logo, we have this, which is the icon. Then we also have this. When you select it, you double click. When you double click, it opens a different panel for you. So you can now select all this join path. Just select all of them. Then you can change the color from here to any color you want. Any other question? Oh, let's do the easier one. Of course, we did the easier one. All right. So, oh yes. When no, not video demo. Framer is not a video editing tool, right? It's not a video editing tool. But if you're trying to create a website that has a video in it, yes, you can do that. Is there anything like paste or replace? Oh yes, you can paste. You can Control C. You can Control V in Framer, of course. And I don't. What do you mean by replace? Yes, you can use the same mental model when using Figma to also use Framer as well. So some of the things that work in Figma also works in Framer. Just the naming can be a little bit different, but they also work in Framer as well. So yes. Any other question? So yes, in our subsequent class, we'll be creating this, right? We'll be creating the whole thing and we'll see how we can do that really fast. We'll see how we can do that really fast. Now, before the class ends, there's a way to create this that would really work well. So now you can select the whole thing, which might not work. Mostly, I think it's a software issue, but it could also be your internet. But alternatively, instead of you select the entire design from top to bottom, you can just select, for example, the navigation, then hero section. You go to the settings into plugin, then you select Framer. Then you can see it is copying. Then you can copy it, come in here, select, paste, and boom, wait for it. And there we go. Yeah. And then use fill and exactly. Now, there's a lot of adjustment you have to do. I deliberately didn't want to work on this particularly because you would still not be able to use Framer if you use the plugin to export your design into Framer. It's good for you to be able to use Framer without having to export your design, so that whenever you export your design, you'll be able to make the necessary adjustment to make sure it looks good. Right? So, yes. Any other question? Is there any way we can make the website as presentation in case we want to showcase our work? Presentation, like presentation tool? Well, you can preview your work before you publish it, like I showed you earlier. So you can click on play, then you can preview your work. Remember, I just exported this. I'm going to take this out immediately so that this does not look strange, right? So just going to delete this and delete this, and delete both of them. Yes, but when you click on preview, you can see your design before you export it. All right, you can see your design, you can inspect it and make changes based on whatever you don't want. You don't want. For example, you see these images in the middle. If we want it to stretch from left to right, we can easily go back there and select it. Then change it to fill. Then go back to preview. And yes, everything stretches from left to right now. Right. So I'm going to take one more question, then session will come to a close. Just like Figma. Yes, just like Figma. So yes, the terms to take note of is so I'm just to write it here. So for you guys that are designers, right? So let's see. We have frames for frame. So yes, let's duplicate it. So now in Figma, we have frames. In Framer, we have frames as well. We have frames as well. And in Figma, we have auto layout. We have auto layout. This out a bit. So in Figma, we have auto layouts. In Framer, we have, look at it here, we have stack. So we have stack. So we have stack. Yeah. Take note of this. They both work the same way frame works in Figma. That's the same way frame works in Framer as well. And then auto layout works the same way in Framer as stack rather. So take note of that. Now for copy, whenever you have a copy that you don't like, you can easily use this icon here to change the copy. Yes, so to use the AI generator to create a new copy. If you don't like it, you can press Ctrl Z and it turns you back to the original one. And what is the capacity of Frame? I mean, what kind of website can you create? Okay, now you cannot create an e-commerce website because an e-commerce website requires a lot. Okay, so Framer has something called CMS, but the CMS is not um is not necessarily going to work for creating an e-commerce platform. Now, you can, if you have a course you want to sell and you have some, basically, you're not selling products. When I mean product, you're not selling shoes, you're not selling clothes. You can use Framer to do it, right? You can set up a place where you can sell your templates, you can sell a book, right? So there's a service called Squeeze, Lemon Squeeze, right? So Lemon Squeeze is a payment solution that is integrated with Framer, and with it you can basically people can pay for your service, right? So it's a button, and you can make changes to this place and you set it up. You go to lemon squeeze and make your settings, and yes, so that is the payment aspect that Framer has. But you can use it for creating. So now you should also check Framer pricing and see how that works, because with if you're paying for the premium version of Framer, you have access to more features and more tools as well, especially when you're trying to create something big for a business. All right, so Amaka, are you there? All right, I think she's having issues joining, and so yes, you can ask more questions before. Okay,
Yes, I
Amaka
am.
is
I'm
back.
here. But if you have more questions,
If
oh,
there's
okay.
any other question,
All
you
right.
can ask your
Thank you so.
questions on Discord server, and yeah, basically.
Yeah, just like someone said, you can ask your questions on the Discord server. Just go ahead, drop your questions on the server. Please use the caption word question in capital letters so that we know it's a question, and Samuel or any other person would answer you on the server. And also, you can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notified when your classes come up. There was an attendance form that was dropped in the comment section. I hope you feel that. That being said, we'll see you by 8 p.m. Watt. That's West African time. Bye, everyone. Have a lovely morning, afternoon, or evening. Thank you so much, Samuel.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
So, bye, guys.